Hello, my students. How are you today? Today we are going to talk about Unit 3 for my students in grade 5. The title of our unit is Weather and Climate. Weather and Climate. Climate is what we expect, but weather is what we get. So climate is what we expect, weather is what we get. Okay? Today we are going to talk about lesson 1. We're going to talk about lesson 1 in unit 3.
Marina Ventura's Climate
Weather
Explorers.
and Climate.
Hi there, Marina Ventura here. Now, as we've been finding out, when you hear the words weather and climate, you might think they mean the same thing, but they're quite different. Isn't that right, Mappy?
Hi, Marina. Yes, that's correct. It might be rainy today or it might be sunny. That's the weather. But climate is the pattern of weather in a place over a much longer time.
And different parts of the world have very different patterns of weather. Why is that?
The Earth's climate is driven by energy from the sun, which arrives in the form of heat. Half of this energy travels through our atmosphere and reaches the Earth's surface. The other half is either absorbed by the atmosphere or reflected back into space. Because the Earth is a sphere, the sun's rays reach the Earth's surface in polar regions at a much more slanted angle than at the equator. So, straight away, we know that the poles are colder than the equator. Now, when things aren't in balance, nature likes to even things out. So the extra energy at the equator needs to be spread across the planet. And it's this that creates different climate zones across the world. Warm air rises at the equator and moves toward the poles. Where warm, wet air rises, we get thunderstorms and tropical rainforests. And where air sinks, it stops clouds from forming. So it rains less, even making deserts.
So, MapApp, how many climate zones are there and how do they differ?
Well, around the equator we have tropical climates, which are hot and humid. This is where you'll find the world's rainforests. Then there are arid or dry climates, like you'd find in deserts. Next is Mediterranean, with hot dry summers and cooler wetter winters. And then there are temperate climates.
That's what we have in the UK, isn't it? Where summers are mild and winters aren't too cold.
That's right. In areas that are a very long way from the sea, the climate is continental, with long cold winters and short hot summers. Finally, there's polar climates, which experience long periods of extreme cold.
Hang on though, I've been to countries like France and Italy in the Mediterranean, and depending upon where I am, I've experienced very different weather conditions. They have lots of snow in winter, and some of their mountains are even snow-covered all year round. But they also have beautiful beaches, great fun during the hot and dry summers. So, if you've got both snow-covered mountains and hot beaches, does that mean they don't have a Mediterranean climate?
Of course not. It just means that local climates in a country can be different to the region's climate. This can be for lots of reasons. High places, like mountains, tend to be colder because the air is cooler the higher you go. Vegetation can also affect the local climate we experience. In equatorial rainforests, dense vegetation blocking the wind, combined with high temperatures and rainfall, means it's a very humid place to be. Where there's no vegetation, the air can be much drier and the wind can blow. In busy cities, the air temperature is often warmer than the surrounding countryside, particularly at night time. This is due to buildings and roads absorbing heat during the day and giving it off at night. Another thing that can affect a local climate is the wind. It might be that part of a country frequently catches wind from another region. This is called a prevailing wind. If it's coming from a hotter place, this might raise temperatures, or if it's from a colder area, it will cause the local temperature to drop.
I think I want to be back on the beach. This wind's coming from a very cold place. Lovely. Time for a dip.
Even the oceans have a part to play in influencing our weather and climate.
As we shall find out later. Thanks, Mappy. And just because a place has one climate doesn't mean it won't change. Climate scientists take measurements over long periods of time to track patterns in temperature and rainfall. These help us know what to expect today and in the future. but are also a great way to see what changes have happened in the past. Amazing to think that 20,000 years ago, the UK would have been in the Ice Age, and our climate here would have been similar to the polar climates that we see today. Cold enough to have a pet polar bear. Join us next time when we'll be finding out about how and why climates change.
Marina Ventura's Climate Explorers, supported by the Natural Environment Research Council, the science of the natural world. Find out more at funkidslive.com/marina.
Look here. What is the weather like today? What is the weather like today? For example, it is sunny. It is sunny in Kuwait, or it is cloudy in London. It is windy in Dubai. It is snowy in Canada. So when I say what is the weather like, you can say it's sunny, it's cloudy, it's windy, it's snowy, and so on. Okay? Now let's talk about our vocabulary in Unit 3. The first word we have is climate. Climate. Repeat after me. Climate. Climate. For example, the climate in deserts is generally dry. The climate in deserts is generally dry. Climate. Here, the difference between weather and climate. Weather can change within a few minutes or hours. Can change within a few minutes or hours. But climate takes very long time to change. Takes very long time to change. The climate is the weather for a long period of time. The climate is the weather for a long period of time. Forecast. Forecast. The next word we have is forecast. For example, the weather forecast says it will rain tomorrow. Again, the weather forecast says it will rain tomorrow. The next word we have today, look at the picture here. This is a truck. Truck. For example, I need a truck to carry a big rock. Again, I need a truck to carry a big rock. Truck. The next word is clear. Clear. For example, trucks clear the snow off the road. Trucks clear the snow off the road. Clear. The next one is snowstorm. Snowstorm. For example, a snowstorm usually happens in cold climate. A snowstorm usually happens in cold climate. The next one is heavily. Heavily. For example, it is snowing heavily, so we can't go out. It is snowing heavily, so we can't go out. Here, search the following words. This is snowstorm. This one is forecast. This one climate. This one is weather. And the next one is windy. Windy. Here we have a word and its definition. Climate. It shows the weather for a long time. Snowstorm is a heavy fall of snow with a strong wind. Weather. It shows how it is hot, sunny, rainy, etc. for a short time. Forecast predicts how the weather will be in the future. Now let's listen to the following to answer the questions. Let's start to listen. You must listen carefully. Let's go.
Grade 5, Unit 3, Weather and Climate, page 41. Listen to the recording about caught in a snowstorm and decide if the following sentences are true or false and correct the false ones.
What's the weather like, Grandpa? Aunt Yasmin! It's Grandpa. It's snowing in Canada.
Hi, Dad. How are you?
Grandpa says it's snowing in Canada. It never snows in Kuwait.
Of course it doesn't. The weather is usually hot and sunny in Kuwait.
I'd like to visit Canada. It snows all winter, from October to March.
Yes, you can go skiing in the mountains. In the towns, you can go ice skating outside.
Sometimes the snow is not safe. The roads are icy and you have to drive very carefully. Dad said there was a snowstorm. He couldn't see anything. He had to stop the car because it was dangerous to drive.
Did he get out of his car?
No, you should always stay in your car and wait for help. He waited for 2 hours. It was very cold, but he had a hat and gloves in the car. He also had a blanket and some hot coffee.
You should always have warm things in the car in the Canadian winter.
In the end, a big truck came and cleared the snow from the road. Your grandpa arrived home very late. He was cold and tired.
Poor Grandpa.
I think I'd like to stay in Kuwait this winter.
After we listen to the recording, let's answer the following questions. The main character in the story is Aunt Yasmin. It's wrong. Number 2. A big truck came and cleared the snow from the road. A big truck came and cleared the snow from the road. It's right. Okay? Complete the diagram about snowstorm. Write at least 2 examples. Again, complete the diagram about snowstorm. Write at least 2 examples. Let's start about a country here. The country is Canada and USA, for example. Weather is cold and snowy. Clothes which we must wear is hats and gloves. sports, skiing and skating. After we listen to the recording, let's answer the following questions. What kind of sports can you play in Canada in winter? You can go skiing or skating. Number 2. Why did Nasser say poor grandpa? Because grandpa was caught in a snowstorm. Because grandpa was caught in a snowstorm. Now let's listen to another recording again. A new recording now to get some information and answer some questions. Let's listen.
Closed. Needed. Cooked. Answered. Decided. Finished.
After we listen to the recording, let's choose and complete the table below. Here answered, closed, answered. Here decided, needed, decided. Cooked, finished, cooked, finished. Okay? Here we have a grammar rule. Our grammar about and, so, but, or.
Conjunctions and, but, or. Look at these sentences. The dog is a faithful and intelligent animal. I want to go to play, but I am sick.
Is it Thursday or Friday today?
The words and, but, and or are conjunctions or connecting words. A conjunction connects words or groups of words or short sentences. We use or to show a choice between two or more options. For example, what would you prefer, an ice cream or a chocolate? We use and to combine similar ideas or to add information. For example, this Friday is a holiday and I would like to go to the fair. We use but to show a difference or an opposite idea. For example, Rohan plays well, but he is an impatient player. Remember to add a comma before the conjunction when you connect sentences.
I eat chicken and rice for lunch today. I eat chicken and rice for lunch today. I need to buy a car, but I don't have enough money. I need to buy a car, but I don't have enough money. She doesn't like apples or bananas. She doesn't like apples or bananas. So versus because. I was tired, so I went to bed. I was tired. This is the first action, so the next action, I went to the bed. I was tired happened first. It is the reason for going to bed, okay? But because I went to bed because I was tired. I went to bed happened after feeling tired. It is the result of feeling tired. It is the result of feeling tired. He was tired, so he went to bed early. He was tired, so he went to bed early. So this is a result. This is a result. Here we have an exercise. Let's choose the correct answer. Number 1, the bus was late this morning. I was late for class. So, I was late for class. Number 2, I usually go home at 4 o'clock. Then I watch TV. And then I watch TV. Okay? Number 3, I fell off my bicycle. I didn't get hurt. I fell off my bicycle. I didn't get hurt. Again, I fell off of my bicycle and or but I didn't get hurt. But I didn't get hurt. Number 4, it's raining. They are not going outside. So they are not going outside. Number 5, my classmate studies very hard. She always gets good grades. And she always gets good grades. My classmate studies very hard and she always gets good grades. Number 6, they felt very bored. Felt very bored. They turned on the TV and watched a movie. So, they turned on the TV and watched a movie. Here, let's read the following text and choose the correct answer. Dear Yasmin, I'm glad to hear that you are enjoying your time in Kuwait. These days, it is very cold and snowy here in Canada. Last Monday, when I was driving back home, it started to snow heavily. I couldn't see the street or the cars around me. So I stopped the car. First I called the police and they told me not to open the windows or the doors and stay inside the car waiting for help. After that I felt cold, so I put on my hat and my gloves and wrapped a warm blanket around my knees. I stayed in my car for 2 hours, caught in the storm. Finally, a truck driver came and cleared the snow from the road to save me. I thanked him and went back home. I was tired, but I was happy to get home safely. I hope that I can come to Kuwait soon. Best wishes, Yasmin. After we read the mail, let's complete these spaces. complete these spaces. Here, the place of the story is Canada. The characters we have is Emily, policeman, and truck driver. Problem: Emily was caught in a snowstorm. Solution: a truck cleared the snow from the road. Again, a truck cleared the snow from the road. Thank you, my students. Thank you, and see you in the next time. Goodbye.